Hey guys, my name's Blake Rees and welcome back. Today we'll be doing an extensive review on the movie The Joker. This movie isn't your typical comic book movie, it's more of a psychological character study that we haven't seen before. Directed by Todd Phillips, who's usually a comedic director who's directed things like Old School, Due Date and the Hangover series. It stars Joaquin Phoenix and Robert De Niro. Obviously, because this is an in-depth review, there's going to be spoilers in here, so if you haven't seen the movie, I'd click to something else. This movie's set in the 1980s and we see the main character, Arthur Fleck, down on his luck, slowly becoming the Joker in a way we've never seen before. Straight away we're thrown into the DC universe and we recognise the gritty city of Gotham City that we all know and love. The lighting and mood of this movie is very apparent. The film even slowly becomes more green as we follow the Joker's progression into madness. Even if you look at some of the shots and places that are supposed to be white, they all have a green tinge to subtly let you know how he sees himself. The sound of this movie was insanely captivating and it accompanied the Joker's descent into madness amazingly well. It was composed by Hilda Gudenita, who has written scores for other amazing films like Arrival, Sicario and Revenant. Everything about this movie felt and sounded like an analog film made in the 1980s. The score and music that accompanied the camera had you sitting on the edge of your seat the whole time. The camera movements and CGI in this movie were exceptional. If you weren't looking for the camera positions on purpose, you definitely felt them. The symbolism in this movie is amazing. All the times that the Joker is like winning and he's got his makeup on and he feels like himself, the camera is really low and is looking up at him. You'll see this everywhere throughout the movie. Every time he's walking, the camera is like at hip height looking up at him and he's literally the biggest thing on the screen. And when he's getting beaten and he's at low points in his life, the camera is massively high, looking down at him and he's this small figure. That really helps to convey the emotion in the movie that he's feeling at the time. And then when he picks himself up, he's still got to climb up those stairs and he's this small character, but it shows him that he's going to where he needs to be. All these subtle little camera movements are done completely intentional and physically show us how he's emotionally feeling. The pacing and edit of this movie, some people thought it was a bit slow, it was a bit of a slow burn, but I found it was completely necessary as it showed Arthur's struggle with reality and his slow descent into madness. This really comes across well on film as we see that the Joker just wasn't born overnight and that he was actually made over time. He quite figuratively became the Joker and wasn't born overnight. They didn't want it to have any sky in the background. There was no freedom from the city. It literally was swallowing him in every frame. Every time we see Arthur, the buildings are just high and above him and he just literally can't escape it. This movie wraps up quite nicely, I thought, and I always feel that at the end of a movie, if you're left wanting more and have more theories and questions about it, the better. Yeah, I'd easy rate this movie a 9 out of 10, and it's one of the better comic book movies we've seen. I'd also compare it to 1976's Taxi Driver, made by Martin Scorsese, starring Robert De Niro too. Yeah, I thought this movie was sick. I'll definitely be seeing it again to try and wrap my head around other theories and questions that are out there. I don't think we're going to get a better Joker movie than this. It was quite original in the fact that Joker's been done to death. Everyone knows who he is and where he's come from. This was done with a fresh new light under a bit of a magnifying glass, and I loved it. I loved how it answered a few things. It wasn't just this crazy dude who was just psycho. It was just this poor dude down on his luck who fell victim to the crimes that was happening in Gotham City at the time. I was watching a few things on the internet about Todd Phillips and how he, really wanted to portray Joaquin Phoenix's character. They were talking about how they wanted to actually make Joker kind of fat and that they've never seen a bit of a thicker Joker. And Todd Phillips had a vision in his head and he was saying that he wanted him to be skinny and he wanted to be like this ravenous wolf that was just hungry, constantly hungry, and that was beaten and damaged. I felt that come across amazingly well. As much as he looks weak, you actually know that he's actually quite strong. I also love how they gave us a bit of an origin story to his laugh, and that it wasn't just this made-up thing that he found everything funny. It was actually just like a nervous tick because he was this abused, beaten boy, and he laughed in uncomfortable circumstances. This has been a good movie to do a good in-depth review on. There's lots of behind-the-scenes footage that you can get into and really see, how they made the movie and really pick it apart. If you have any other suggestions on a movie you'd like me to pick apart, just write it in the comments below. Thanks a lot, guys.